welcome. This is Spiritual Insights, and this is where we come to discuss all things spirituality, personal development, and of course, mindset. I do hope you find something of value and decide to stick around. So, as I'm sure you've seen by the title, today we are talking all things discipline, right? Tips and tricks and mindset changes and whatever changes you need to actually make, in order to get the thing. The thing can be anything, can be, career focused, relationship focused, your own personal development goals, whatever that is, right? And of course, what better time to talk about this than this time of the year when we're all fresh off that New Year's excitement, right? So I think if you're human, you've probably had issues with discipline somewhere along the line, right? To varying extents. And I think in my personal experience, any time where I've really had issues with follow through is either when my systems were not set in place properly. It's one thing to have a goal, it's entirely different to actually have systems to follow through because they keep you accountable to that end goal, right? And the second thing I would say is if my why was not clearly defined, right? The thing is that if your why is fleeting, or if the reason is based on something that doesn't necessarily drive you from within, something that just drives you intrinsically, right? If that is not clearly defined, then somewhere along the line you will fall off, right? So everything that we're going to talk about today, I think this is like the overarching theme. So a really good thing I found to at least start off with in the beginning is once you've established that specific goal that you want to reach, right? Actually looking at, okay, what current activities and or behaviors are coming into my time that are actually costing me? Okay, so in other words, what do I have to forego, right? Because once you understand what is essentially in the way, what's blocking you, then you go, okay, what do I now need to add to my routine in order to achieve this goal? And with that, I always say you want to look at how can I do this as efficiently and as productively as possible. Because once you understand, what's costing you from a behavioral time perspective, then you can absolutely start to implement the new things, right? It could be anything. Am I spending too much time on social media, scrolling through, nothingness? Am I spending too much time watching series endlessly? Like, what am I doing, right? And if I took an hour and a half, 2 hours away or out of my day, instead of doing that and putting that time and effort into learning that new skill, into doing that new thing, right? How much further could I be? And once you've acknowledged those changes that need to happen, then and there is when you get to it and you decide, okay, I need to do this 3 times a week. I need to do this for a good 30 minutes a day. Okay, I'm gonna do it 3 times a week. I'm gonna do it twice a week. I'm gonna do it 5 days a week. But actually be very intentional about it. Write it down. I think as we know, writing things down automatically makes a connection to your brain that this is important, and we become more likely to follow through on things that we write down, right? Because otherwise, then there's that little feeling of guilt, right? So the next important step, as you know, any new goal, any new habit requires not just a plan, but also setting systems in place, right? The systems, like I said before, this is kind of what holds you accountable to actually following through with the goal, right? The systems are your day-to-day tasks, right? Because once you've set the goal, then it's okay to detach a little bit from it, but then kind of get into the flow of your day-to-day, whatever it is that you need to do for the day, for the week, and then of course ultimately that becomes cumulative, right? Now, whatever kind of apps you need to rely on, whether you need your calendar, whether you need something like Notion, whether you need a habit tracker, whatever it is that you need, if it's going to help you stay organized, if it's going to help you meet those goals, get it. Once you've written down the goal and the new steps that you need to now start doing, taking action on, one of the things I will literally do is I will literally, for the next month, I'll put it in my calendar for the next month, right? Whichever days I've decided. So say maybe it's something that I feel I need to do 3 days a week or 4 days a week. You put it in your calendar for that set amount of time, right? So that, because what we're doing is we're anchoring it into the mind. And so another thing that works really well with this is priming of the mind, right? So for example, you've already written down, your new gym schedule, right? Part of priming in that example would be the day before you would set out your clothing, right? And then you do like a little visualization of how good you're going to feel once you are done with the session, right? How rewarding you're going to feel once you start coming into your new body, your new physique. There's so many studies that have been done on this, especially with like Olympic athletes, right? Where as they do their training, they pair that with these little visualizations, right? And so what ends up happening is the bridge to this is where I am, to this is my goal, and this is where I need to get to, you kind of close it a lot quicker because your brain is actually working with you, it's working for you. Okay, so whatever the end goal might be, if it's an income goal, for example, you start visualizing that goal, right? That specific amount, right? And then the days that you need to show up to do whatever you need to do, you do exactly that. Follow through, right? So I like to combine all of these, and I find that not only does it reduce the resistance in terms of getting into this new flow, but to actually getting to the goal, it happens a lot faster. Okay, so at this stage, you have your goals outlined, you have your plan, your structure, systems in place, and once you've got all of that, you want to now detach from the goal, right? Reason being, as human beings, we cannot help but feel pressure, take on pressure, right? Especially when something is really important to you, or when you really want something, it's very natural to build up all of that pressure, to start overthinking, to lean into perfectionism, right? However, all of that anxiety and stress actually works against you, actually makes you more resistant to getting the thing, okay? So you want to detach from the goal firstly, and what you want to do is you are going to start focusing rather on the small wins, on the day-to-day wins. That's what's going to energize you, right, to show up the next time. Because ultimately, anytime you've taken on a new goal, the whole point is that process of growth. That is really what's happening. It's about changing a part of yourself, right, in order to become a different or a better version of yourself in that area, right? So you want to reduce the pressure off yourself completely, nurture the process itself, allow it to be cumulative, right? And then of course just focus on the small wins, because those will be the little rewards that keep you energized and keep you going on the way to your goal. Now, of course, it goes without saying, some days are better than others. Some days you're going to want to show up, and other days you just won't. On the days when you don't feel like showing up, then I would advise to kind of remind yourself, okay, big picture focus. Why am I doing this? Why am I here? What is my why? Again, right? That emotional connection that you have to the goal itself, right? So you kind of want to balance the two. Another massive change to make sure that you do implement is, of course, have a morning routine and have an evening routine. But I actually changed my morning routine recently after reading The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma, right? And what I loved about it is that he breaks down your morning routine into sizable, doable chunks. So he suggests that the first 60 minutes of your day, you break it into 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20-minute breaks, okay? Wherein the first 20 minutes, you would do some form of physical workout, right? The next 20 minutes would be done to kind of visualize your day, go through your goals, and the third being to learn a new skill, right? I love this because it is so flexible. You can always customize it to your lifestyle and your preferences, of course, right? And what I've done, for example, I'm not much of a gym person, so instead of doing a 20-minute gym session or HIIT session, right, I do yoga instead, and it works perfectly for me, right? But the point of this is to have something that anchors your morning, and you kind of get into that state of, okay, I've already done a few things this morning. It also gets your energy right. But essentially, that little bit of structure naturally begets more structure, right? And so you kind of want to, capitalize off of that good energy, go into your new day, to start your day with, and actually follow through on whatever it is that you need to do in the morning. Same with your evening routine. So the next point is actually 2 points that I find work extremely well together if done right, okay? Firstly, you want to set time blocks for the actual core important activities that you need to do. Reason being, you're going to stay organized. You're going to be able to actually meet your goals, do your tasks, tick them off of your to-do list, right? However, in order to avoid burnout, you also want to limit strict scheduling, okay? And so the point of this is, in as much as you're going to have time blocks for productivity, have some for some fun time as well, okay? Because what you want to avoid completely is a burnout. The thing is that a burnout totally defeats the purpose, because not only does it affect your momentum, right, but you just will not want to show up, okay? And I believe with balance, anything is possible. The whole point to achieving your goals is to become this new person. But gosh, can it not be daunting and painful, right? It gets to be good. You get to enjoy yourself on the way there. You get to enjoy the process of becoming this new version of yourself. So I hope you have found some value in this, and I will see you soon.